Yo, what's going on, you guys? Your boy Devvon, the living weirdo. And today, in this Help Me Devvon tutorial, I'm going to be showing you how to get big 808s. Basically, I'm going to show you how to get fuller, cleaner 808s that are wide, that fit in your mix, and that make sense. So this tutorial is going to be a little bit of a production tutorial as well as a mixing tutorial. So producers, watch close. All right, so I'll play a little bit of this beat for you. In particular, it's one of my beats available at devvonbeats.com. It's called No Victims. I'm going to play you basically the finished product, and then I'm going to show you how I got there. So listen to this close. Okay, cool. Now, if you listen to that closely, you can hear that there are actually two bass lines in the song, one being the 808 and the other being a synth bass. Now, the big secret to this is, how do you get both of those things to live in a mix? How am I able to have a synth bass as well as an 808 bass in the same song? I'm going to show you how. So first and foremost, let me show you my synth bass, which I'll put right here. And I'm going to show you the before and after of the synth bass. I'm just going to give you an idea of what happened. So I'll keep punching it back and forth. Listen to my synth bass. Huge, mega huge difference. Okay, you can also hear that I don't have any low end on that synth bass. Well, I'm going to tell you why I don't have any low end on that synth bass. In order for me to have the 808 and the synth bass to live, I have to pick which one is priority as far as who's going to be the bottom end and who's going to be like the mid bottom end. And that's basically what I had to make a decision. So what you're trying to do is you're trying to make space. When it comes to that low end frequency range, you have your kick, your bass, and basically it's just low end. So it's basically just your kick and your bass and usually a synth bass. And this is how I got all three of those things to mix and mash into it. I rolled off a lot of the low end, which I'll show you right here. On the synth bass, I rolled up a ton of low end, and you can see it right here. And it went from this, and it was this. Now, there's no way that those two, the 808 and the synth bass, would have been able to live together unless I did that. So now I had the prime opportunity of taking my synth bass and making it super wide, because I don't have so much of those low frequencies at the bottom that you shouldn't, as far as phasing and stuff like that, you shouldn't take your bass frequencies and push them out to the stereo field. You want those things to be very mono. So this is what you get, a little bit of a cheat code. You can take the synth bass and you can make the synth bass wide, and then you can take the 808 and leave that 808 up the middle. So now you have this fat, warm center, and then you have this wide bass line that still exists, that feels like it's still the bass. Really dope trick. I super suggest you do this thing. Super secret. Okay, so I'm going to show you how I got there. So first thing I did was, like I said, I'm trying to carve out space. Obviously the 808 is warm, it's boomy. I want that to stay where it is. I don't want to make that wide or try to configure that or change that too much to get that where it is. So what I do is I come right over to the synth bass for width. So I use the synth bass for width, and I'm using my 808 for the boom and the warmth. I'll show you how I got this width in this first. So first things first, I'll go right down the line. What I did was I rolled off a ton of the low end. So as you saw, this is what it is without any processing. First thing I'm thinking, I need to roll off all of that low end so that it can rock in the same place as the 808 without interfering with it. So let's roll off the low end, and now I'll play the 808 and the synth bass together. Listen closely. Cool, they're both in their own places, still in the low end spectrum. There's a little bite up there, but nonetheless, they're still both in that low end, and they both are living together comfortably, not competing with each other so much. Okay, next thing I'm going to do to this synth bass is I'm going to widen it. Now, I know for some people, listen to me, check your phase. Yes, when you're dealing with stereo imaging and widening things, it's okay. Some people are so afraid to do it. Some people feel like it's so taboo. Just check your phase. Just make sure it's good. Play it on your car stereo. Play it on some mono head. Just check the phase and make sure it's good. If it doesn't work, then you have to fix it and go back into the mix. Got me? All right, so this is what I did. I am using one of the most, to me, the most unsung plugins ever. And you can use any stereo wide plugin, but this one I super highly recommend. It's called Dr. MS. And basically what I'm doing is I'm using a preset called mono to stereo. And this is what it's doing to the synth bass. Listen closely. I'll punch it back and forth so you can hear it. Huge difference. This is one of my favorite stereo imaging plugins. This is a big secret for me. I can't believe I'm telling you this, but great. Next thing I like to do is I rolled on over to another stereo imaging plugin of mine. Yes, more stereo imaging. Check your phase. No problem. And basically what I did was I wanted to take some of the low end that was left on this 808 and I wanted to bring that mono because I want to make sure that I'm not pushing any of those low end frequencies to the side. So I'm just taking this more as a corrector to make sure that I'm putting that low end in the middle and it's monoed. So this is basically my settings right here. You can see between that 900 to 500 range, I'm monoing that out somewhat, and then I'm widening the 500 to 2000 hertz range, and I'm widening whatever is at the top as well. You can see these right at the bottom right here, and this is what it's doing. You can also hear that a little bit more clarity has been added to it. A lot more bite has been added to that synth bass. You can see that when I added this right here. This is like, these two plugins in unison are amazing. These are my favorite stereo imaging plugins. I've used a lot, and I'm telling you from experience, these two are incredible. I love these so much. I actually could hear a difference. Okay, now last but not least, what I did here was I rolled off a little bit of the synth bass at the top end. And the reason why I did it is because I felt like it was too bright and I wanted to take some of that bite off and bring it back to feeling like somewhat of a bass. So I'll A/B it and let you hear it with and without. So without. So big difference. Took some of that top end off and basically brought it back to that space where it feels like it's just a bass. Now, I've been playing this with the 808 just so you can hear in comparison what it's doing and living in that space. You can clearly hear it's living in the space with the 808 where they're not fighting with each other, they're not competing. By itself, it sounds like this. But together, it feels like one full fat 808 bass low end sound. And that's an awesome trick for you guys to use. Now, I'm going to show you how I got the 808 in itself to be boomy and nice and round how it sounds right now. So one of my favorite tricks to do with the 808 is, and I have this technique all the time that I'm showing you guys, is sidechain compression. Now, I won't get too deep into sidechain compression because I showed you, I told you before. Check the description in the bio, sidechain compression, and it'll show you all of those tricks and how to do this, what I'm about to show you. Long story short, what I'm doing is, and once again, the whole objective of this whole thing is to get all of those bass frequencies to live together. That's how you're going to get a bigger 808 sound, is technically when you clean it up and make space for everything, you're going to have a better 808 sound. You're going to have a better kick sound. You're going to have a better sound in general in that frequency spectrum. Cool. So I'm sidechain compression. And basically what that is I'm telling a compressor on the 808, anytime you hear the kick, I want you to duck the 808. So anytime the kick hits, I have the 808 ducking for that one moment so that it doesn't interfere and they're not on top of each other. So the 808 is like, I'm going to give you the life. I'm going to give you some room for a quick slight moment, and then I'm going to come back up prominent. And that's basically what the sidechain compressor is. Me explaining it to you like that should make so much sense to you. And now you're going to have a stronger kick and a stronger 808 that don't interfere with each other at all. Listen closely. And you could check my meters and see how the kick, every time the kick engages, the 808 dips. Listen closely. Awesome Awesome trick. I love this trick so much because now my 808 isn't interfering with the kick. They're both low in frequencies and they're both hitting. This is what a lot of EDM people do on the low too, to get those kicks to really pump. This is a dope trick to use in hip hop, in any genre of music, if you're trying to get that 808 and that kick to kind of rock together, bass line as well. Okay. And that's really it, you guys. Make sure you follow us on the Instagram at HelpMeDevvon on Instagram. If you have any questions, I want you to comment, like, subscribe, ask me any questions. I love when you guys send me emails, etc. Comment below. Let me know what you think. And just let me know what you guys want to see next. This is what I do with you guys. I hope you enjoyed. And until next time, guys.